Hello. So I just talked to a client of mine yesterday who told me it is official. She is out of business as of December 29th, 2025. And I knew this was coming, but it's going to be sad because I'm not going to have her as a client anymore. So, Robin, if you are watching this, you already know my love for you is so great. And I'm going to miss you tremendously. But I wanted to take today's live to talk about what you do when you're closing your business as it relates to taxes and IRS and the state. Because while you're really happy that you get to enjoy retirement, there are some things that need to be done. So today is day 20 of 90. And if you are new here, put a wave in the chat. We have Tara in the chat. She is an enrolled agent here at Hair CEO, and she will be in the chat answering any of your questions that you may have as I am going through the list of things that I have for you today. If you're catching the replay, leave a comment. Let us know that you were watching. Put a hashtag replay so that we can know that you saw this video. So, all right. Before I get into all the details, just know that this stuff is for educational purposes only. If you are in the process of closing out your salon, I don't want you to take this as gospel. I want you to make sure you're working with your tax professional or your, accounting firm to make sure that all of your T's are crossed and all of your I's are dotted. If you are looking for an accounting firm, then absolutely, click the link in the description because I am Jennifer, the founder and CEO of Hair CEO. We are a business advisory and accounting firm helping self-employed hair professionals and hair business owners run legitimate, profitable, and bankable businesses. And we do this with bookkeeping, taxes, and advisory services. So, okay, today we are talking about how to close your business out. And like I mentioned, my client Robin, she's been doing hair locks for over 30 years. And she's super excited to get into her retirement. And she was telling me about all her plans. She's traveling, okay? She is going to be traveling all over Europe and all over Asia. And so as she was explaining like all of her travel plans, I'm listening, right? But at the same time, I'm like, okay, Robin, but we're not done yet. She's so excited. And it's almost like when you're going to retire, it's like you have that what's it called, the senioritis, like when you're in high school or you're about to be a senior in college and you're graduating, and it's like everything is like you're not paying attention because it's a senioritis. I think, I don't know, I can't remember, it was so long ago for me. But yeah, she's like checked out, right? Because we in 2026, she took her last client in 2025. She probably did not want to hear what I had to tell her, but I was like, pump your brakes, Robin. I know you leave on Monday, as in, what's today? Tuesday? So a few days from now, less than a week, 6 days, right? You're going to be on a plane. But ma'am, we got some stuff to do. So let's talk about what needs to happen if you are in Robin's shoes and you're getting ready to retire, or you're like, you know what, I'm hanging this thing up. I thought this life was for me, but this self-employment life, I want no parts of it, because that might be you. So let's talk about what you need to do. First thing is file your final tax return. Now, the good thing for Robin is that her business, she took her very last client in December 29th, 2025. So it's perfect, literally right at the end of the year. So for her, we're just going to make sure that we report all of her income on that final tax return, and then she's done with the filing for that business. Now, that is if you are taxed as sole proprietor. Now, if you are taxed as a partnership or a corporation or S corp, there will be some other steps that you need to take, because you have to make sure that you select that you're filing a final tax return on those reporting tax returns. And you'll want to make sure you're working with a tax professional to make sure you're doing that correctly, because you don't want them looking for additional forms after you've closed your business, because they will charge you fees for not reporting those documents. So you want to let them know, like, hey, I'm done. Don't be looking for this next year. And I know that's incorrect grammar, but yes, stick with me here. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're filing that final tax return. So you want to make sure you have all of your income. If you've been, keeping up with your records, you should have all of this information. And so you're going to list out finally that final year, how much income you had, how many deductions that you had, tax deductions, and what you spent your money on. You want to make sure all of that is in your final tax return. Next thing you want to do, you want to file this form 4797 if you are in the process of selling any equipment. So, for example, let's say you have a full-blown salon and you have been depreciating things like furniture, chairs, salon chairs, and stations, and all the things. When you purchase this salon or this barbershop, and you've been depreciating that that equipment or that furniture, then you have to file this form, because now the IRS wants to recapture some of that sale. Now, that's a whole nother live that I'm going to do maybe a little later on in this series, but just know this is not something that you want to mess up on. So again, this is why you're going to want to work with a tax professional for this, because it's very important in the event that you are selling your assets as a part of closing your business. All right, the next thing you're going to want to do, take care of any employees. This means you want to make sure that you're paying them their final checks. You're making sure that if you had retirement plans set up for them, that you terminate those correctly. Let them know how to get their funds, if they're going to need to transfer it over to another retirement fund account, or how they can get their money. You want to make sure that you file all of the employer forms related to employment for them. You want to make sure that you get them their final W-2s. All of these things you're going to have to be responsible for to make sure that your employees are taken care of. Next up, report any contract labor payments. So if, let's say, you didn't have any employees, but you have been paying contractors, you want to make sure that you are reporting anything that you've paid them over the threshold to the IRS. This could be in the form of a 1099 NEC. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. Now, if you've been paying like a landlord, then you want to make sure you've given them that final 1099 miscellaneous form. Again, all of these things are going to be something that you want to talk to your tax professional about. This is not something you want to, screw up. And by the way, I have 7 of these things. If you're like, all right, Jennifer, well, how many of these things you got? 7. So we're more than halfway through. All right. So number 5, close your sales tax account. So important, because when it comes to the state and their sales tax, listen, they want those reports, and they want those reports filed on time. Okay. And so even if you didn't sell anything, they want a 0 report filed to them, submitted by the deadline. And if you don't, guess what? A lot of states will penalize you. So let's say you're like, oh yeah, I closed my business December 29th, 2025. Well, if you're responsible for making sales tax or submitting your sales tax reports monthly, by January, what's today? 2020. Matter of fact, it's today. Look at that. Look at that timing. The December reports, if you're on a monthly schedule, are typically due on the 20th of the following month. So they will be looking for that sales tax report today. So you want to make sure you're closing out that account and letting them know, like, hey, I'm done with business. Don't look for any more sales tax reports from me. So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure you close that sales tax account. And then number 6, remember, we're only doing 7, so we're almost there. 6, keep your records. Don't go celebrating and burning all of your records. Don't burn your profit and loss statements. Don't go burning, all of your, printouts. Don't do that. You might be excited that it's over, but with the IRS and with the state, there are statutes of limitations that they can go back and ask you for information. So you want to make sure that you are in compliance with when those statute of limitations end, and it varies depending on if you have property, what the records are about, if you file taxes, if you didn't file taxes. So it's a lot involved. So you want to make sure, again, that you're working with your tax professional. And let's see, number 7, this is the one that really trips a lot of people up. And I'm actually going to give you a bonus one because I just thought about it because I had this conversation with Robin, and you actually might be having the same question. So number 7, a lot of people forget about this. Close out your EIN. Yes, you want to close that bad boy out. Remember, this is the equivalent of your social security number, right? So I don't want to sound too morbid or anything, but it's like if you're dead, right? You want to close out so no one else is using social security number. So you want to make sure that when your business is dead, no one else is using your EIN number. Because I remember this horror story of, this salon owner was out of business for many years, did not close her EIN account, and someone set up employer accounts under her EIN, and she was responsible for all of the employment taxes because they were, an employer, and they put everything, all the employment taxes under her EIN. It was a hot mess, big mess that we had to clean up, but it can be done. But you don't want to do that. So just go ahead and close out that EIN, and you have to do this in a specific way. So again, what's the theme? Make sure you're working with your tax professional. And then I give you a bonus one because I didn't write this out because I like the number 7. But as a bonus item, one thing that Robin was like saying to me, I said, hey, make sure you close out your LLC. She was like, oh, well, you know what, Jennifer, I think after I come back from traveling, I'm going to start a new business. And I was thinking I could just use that LLC. No, don't do that. Because you don't know if you're going to, you don't know, she didn't know when she was going to make that decision. And then there are fees associated with keeping that LLC open. So you would have to make sure that you're paying that annual fee. She's going to be living her best life in Asia, in Europe. And the last thing she needs to be concerned about is filing deadline dates to keep her LLC open for something she may or may not, do after she gets back from traveling all over the world. So also that LLC was focused on hair. Now, could she have, filed some amendments of, articles of amendments to change the purpose of the business? Absolutely. But I like to simplify things. She said if she does anything else after she finishes her travel around the world, she made this very clear. Jennifer, I will not be doing hair. Okay, Robin, I love it. You like it, I love it, right? That's fine. So even more reason to just close the LLC. So at the end of the day, she agreed, and she was just like, yeah, I don't want to be thinking about renewals. I don't want to think about any type of documentation I have to send to the state. I don't want to think about that stuff. I just want to travel and enjoy my retirement. And so, yes, I recommended that she close her LLC. So these are the things that you may need to do if you are thinking about retiring, or you're just like, I'm done with this whole business thing. I'm gonna go work for somebody else because this is a lot and I'm not built for it. And I would say that's okay. live your truth. Because it is not for everyone. That is for sure. All right, guys. So if you are self-employed hair professional, or if you have a hair business and you want to file your taxes with us this filing season, we're working with a limited number of people this filing season. So I encourage you to click the link below, reserve your spot so that you can ensure that we will file your taxes for 2025, or if you have a prior year. So we do that as well. Now, I've gotten some questions through my email. Well, I'm not ready to sign up yet. I got to get my money right. I love us. I love us. And when I say us, I'm talking about the hair industry. Already know. So if that's the case, yes, you can get your money ready. And if the slots are not there, you won't be able to book. So you don't have to worry about saying like, well, is it any slots left? Don't worry. If you can schedule your reservation, there is a slot for you. So you don't have to worry about that. All right, guys. Well, I'm Jennifer, and I am, again, the founder and CEO of Hair CEO, helping self-employed hair professionals and beauty business owners run legitimate, profitable, and bankable businesses. And I'm here to simplify profits and taxes for you. So I will see you on tomorrow's live.